We got this running last time, and that was huge. And today, we got even more to do. We got a whole bunch of stuff done last time, mainly getting the engine running. And today, we are going to be replacing the windshield and the soft top. Now, for those of you guys who have taken note, you may have noticed that the windshield is, well, not in great condition. It's pretty broken up right there and all across. And well, first off, I want to replace it because it's bad. Secondly, it's just straight up illegal to have this. You can't have this kind of windshield and get the car registered. It's even so bad that it's still been leaking. It's still been cracking on the inside there and leaving glass all over the dash, even though I have barely been touching this. So that's how bad of condition it is. This has been cleaned, and yet it's still falling apart even more. Luckily for us, right here on this Miata, we have ourselves a perfect condition, clean windshield, and we're going to transfer this one to this one. In addition to that, the soft top is in rough condition. I mean, maybe this is fine. Maybe it's more aero. We don't need that piece. Weight reduction. Look at this. It's got an open concept, so you can rain inside. That's good. But luckily for us, in this white box right over here is a brand new soft top that came when I bought this car. So we're gonna put that onto here. So the way that we're gonna start this off today is by taking care of the windshield, or at least attempting to, because this is my first time ever doing something of this stature. I don't know a good word to follow that up with, but here's the plan that I have for it. So I picked up this windshield removal tool from Harbor Freight, and what it is essentially this wire works as a saw connected to each end of this, and we're gonna use that to saw out the silicone from underneath this windshield. Then we should be able to pull it off and then do the same process for this one, clean the two up, and then simply mount that one back on. Now, admittedly, this part is gonna be pretty labor intensive, and it's actually the part I'm not as worried about because I'm more concerned about getting the trim off. Now, the trim is this piece right here, and I've already started to attempt to try to get some off, and you can see it's kind of off, but at the same time it's not, because really close in, this black line right here, this needs to come off as well. So what has happened is that this black silicone, or this black trim part, has actually chipped off from underneath. So that's gonna be the first thing that we're gonna attack today. I'm gonna grab myself a heat gun to hopefully try to soften up some of the material, see if I could get a flathead screwdriver or something underneath there to pry that up, and then see if I can get it off as best as I can. So this is where we're starting. Let's get going. So I've got the trim mostly taken off around the outside. There's still some scraggly bits left over, which is gonna be okay. But now what we're going to do is we're going to use this rope, try to get the windshield silicone cut out. So the way we're gonna do is we're gonna poke a hole through here using this tool. This has a little notch on the end, right there, where it'll hold the wire so we could push it through just fine. And then we'll attach it to these two handles, and we're going to use it to essentially saw through the silicone on the bottom side and the top, so that way we will be able to get this cut out. It's a little weird when trying to explain it, but you'll see exactly what we mean when we start cutting. So let's get this off. Christmas is coming, and I have put a whole bunch of work in designing a bunch of new designs for the Christmas season. They are up and available now on the website at philosupra.com, and they will only be here for a limited time up through the new year. So make sure to grab them now, because any order before December 1st will guaranteed be shipped at the beginning of the month. So that means that they will be here for Christmas time. So go ahead and give everything a look and snag yourself something warm, something cozy, and something that represents your car passion for this holiday season. All right, we got the windshield out, and that was a little bit more complicated than I was anticipating. It's all looking really good back there. Glad to have that mess gone. So here's what made it so complicated. It wasn't actually the fact that sawing it was tough. In fact, the tool that we used worked really well. The only time it ever had any hiccups was anytime it ran into any sections of glass that were already broken. It would just come up because the angle that I'm coming at would slightly lift the saw blade up. Anyway, long story short, it would get caught in between those cracks of pre-broken glass, making it tough. But now you guys want a more specific video on how I'm doing all of this, I'm just copying the way that Chris Fix did it when he replaced the windshield or the rear windshield on one of his cars. So the process is out there explained already better than I'll be able to do. Anyway, the next step that we have is to prime this and then go ahead and get it on. So we're at that step already. I need to give a call to see if I can steal one of my brothers and have him come down here and help me lift this on, because I'm not gonna try to do this myself. That would be no bueno. So anyway, that's where we're at. Let's go ahead and get this sealant on. And then I got some silicone to throw on. Then we mount the windshield. So this is moving along pretty quick. Let's go.
When you feel it's hopeless, when you think that you lost, oh, I will take your hand and we'll rise up from the dust. Oh, here we go, go, go.
The next day.
I dodged a huge bullet putting the windshield on. I am not gonna lie. So first off, this is cool. Having a clear windshield, I didn't realize that would make that much of a difference in making the car look actually complete. But oh my goodness, wow. It's phenomenal. The inside could use another clean, but oh my goodness, this is weird. I mean, this is what it was before, and now it's just like perfect, honestly. This is crazy. So here's the bullet that I dodged. Now, when you put it up, we got it side to side and top to bottom, perfect. And then I was in such a rush to go somewhere else. I had to leave like a minute after I put this on that I just set it on. I was like, all right, we're good. I thank my brother for helping me and I yeeted my way out of here, but I didn't actually tape the windshield up. Now, what this means is that the windshield could actually sag down a bit, and it did ever so slightly. Like it's barely noticeable, but it did sag down slightly. But the thing that saved me is luckily Mazda has these tabs that they put in that holds the windshield in place. Now they flex a little bit, so it did move ever so slightly, but holy Moses, this could have sunk all the way down another probably ½ centimeter down, which would have caused us some major issues up top. But luckily we are safe. So immensely huge bullet dodge. I would have had to do this whole thing again, but luckily we are okay. That could have gone so horribly wrong, but luckily we got that done. Now I know I said the next thing we're going to do is the top, and it actually will be, but I do have one thing to test first. What I want to do is I want to see if I could semi-mount these front fenders to see if they're salvageable. Now they're dented fairly decently, but the overall structure is pretty straight. So I want to see if I can get these mounted up, because this will determine whether or not I need to buy new fenders. Now, fixing the fenders isn't going to be something we're going to do today, but I want to know if that way I can see if it's actually something that I need to get prepared for the next episode. Let's quickly try to hang these up and see if they actually, well, can be saved.
Clear my throat. We rise up from the dust.
Well, it turns out, despite being in a front-end collision, these actually fit pretty well. So it took a little bit of finagling, as you probably could have as you probably could have seen by the way I was trying to wrench it on, that it took some encouragement, but nonetheless, it looks great in my opinion. I mean, obviously there's dents all along here. It's tough to tell in the garage light, but there's dents that need to be filled out, but nothing that's overly complicated. I mean, right here's the worst part of it all, where there's a bit of a tear in the metal, and I didn't want to quite go all the way out to the mounting point, but nonetheless, this is actually pretty solid. Even when we come to the other side, this one as well just fit right up. It took, again, a little bit of an encouragement, but it made it. Now this is really good, and so what I'm thinking I want to do is I want to try to get everything else back on the car now, so that way I can kind of get a full vision of it. Plus I just want to. I think this would be great to see everything back on. So I think we're gonna go ahead and put on all the windshield cowl, the wipers, the hood, front bumper, get ourselves a picture of a full Miata. That way we'll have this all ready to attack for next episode. And then after that, we're gonna go ahead and get the top on. So that way, theoretically, by the end of this episode, we'll have ourselves our quote unquote complete car, and then start to get ready for the paint prep stage. So this is really exciting. Let's go ahead, set up the camera again. Let's get the windshield cowl, let's get the hood, let's get the front bumper on. Let's get rolling. Essentially, all we need to do is we need to take off the rubber trims along the side, pull out all the screws, and then go through the process of putting this one back on the frame. So we're gonna go ahead and pop that off, maybe clean it up while it's off, and then get to it. Ladies and gentlemen, we got ourselves a brand new soft top on. Now it's not quite closed all the way. I'm having a little trouble getting it actually fully to close. It's just tight because it's brand new and it's also pretty cold outside, so it's not that flexible, but it's almost there. So as soon as I can get that locked in, I'll just have that sit probably until end of winter, so that way we don't have to worry about it breaking or stretching. It'll form right where it needs to be. Anyway, all that being said and done, it looks so good. This is a huge step for us because this is essentially the last thing that we needed to do before we got to start prepping for paint, and that is what we're going to do starting next episode. So next episode, we're just gonna start going at it. It is currently a Thursday right now, and a week from Thursday is when I'd like to paint it at the latest. Weather permitting, that's gonna be the warmest day in the next week and a half, all of 57 degrees. I mean, I could totally use heaters to heat up the garage, so that's an option as well. But we're gonna start knocking everything out and getting it as prepped as possible. So that's gonna be coming up in the future, but right now we got this done, and this was a huge step because it symbolizes the last thing we needed to do before we started entering the final stages. Thank you guys so much for watching this one. Again, just huge milestone. I can't stress how important that one was. Check out everything down in the link below. There's a whole bunch of new Christmas shirts and sweaters and stuff that's going only to be available through the end of the year. So go ahead and grab it now before it's gone, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Adios.